Our next guest is the brilliant actor who once played the lead role in a new show on Netflix, and within 3 months, 100 million people had watched it. Little surprise that The Night Agent is back for season 2 with all 10 episodes available this Thursday. So please welcome the very high classo Gabriel Basso.
Come on, let's hear it for Gabriel. Wow. Gabriel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Superstar, brilliant actor.
That's
I feel
you.
kind of overwhelmed with the kind words.
Yeah, well, it's all on point. It's all a message. It's all absolutely true. It's all accurate. Welcome to the top of the tower. You've seen London. You've looked to the east of London. You've looked to the west of London.
Yeah, it's. I was thinking about, actually, you have 2 cathedrals that I could see from one end of y'all's buildings.
Pretty cool, eh?
It's weird because they broke down the hours of the show into years.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, you know how the people who planned cathedrals never saw the completion of them because they took hundreds of years to make. Like, I think it was 900 years that the show had logged in hours, and it was just sort of looking at something that's thousands of years old that took hundreds of years to build, and then having my show surpass it in time. It feels like an inversion of what should be valuable.
It's a crazy thing, isn't it? The whole streaming thing is crazy because, of course, you used to watch a show and you get the overnights in, and that was it. You know, it might go on repeat. Back in the day, they used to burn the tapes, or they used to tape over shows to save money on having to buy new tapes. And then this Australian guy called Reg Grundy, he said, "I think I'm going to keep the tapes." And they said, "Why?" "We need the tapes to record tomorrow's show on." He said, "One day I think the tapes are going to be worth some money."
That was pretty smart.
It's pretty smart.
But that's what's crazy is the show's not real. You know, the Wi-Fi goes out, people can't watch the show. The money that I'm getting paid is fiat currency. It doesn't exist. So it's like this weird, you're almost, you know, you can say superstar and all this stuff, but everything that fame is built on is intrinsically like worthless. So it feels like this weird, I'm traveling all over the world, meeting people. They're all fans of something that doesn't exist. It feels kind of bizarre.
No, but if enough people believe it, then it does exist, because we all agree. That's Yuval Noah Harari, isn't it? It's collective agreement, once because you get together and you believe in a movement, and whilst you all agree to believe, then it does exist until the moment you don't.
Exactly. I don't.
And you're at the center of it.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I suppose is a great way of keeping your feet on the ground.
It is a crazy feeling. It is pretty wild, especially when you're sort of the object of everyone's, I'll say, like, affection or whatever. You're the face that stimulates whatever emotion they're watching, and so they associate that with you. But this art form is so collaborative. It'd be like asking, you know, I'm sure you interviewed musicians in a band and stuff that are the name of the band, but they can't make their music without the band.
Yeah.
And so I can't do anything I'm doing without a camera operator, without a grip, without a focus puller. So you have all these jobs that in the collaborative art medium result in me becoming sort of a socially aware, you know, worldwide, people are aware of me, but it's almost like they forget that the whole thing is a collaborative thing. I like to think about it like an old Greek like ship, like a trireme or something, where everybody has an oar that they're all rowing, and I have my oar, and yet somehow when we get to port, everyone like high fives me. And it's, all the people are standing there waiting to celebrate the fact that the ship made it in. But I'm like, I'm not the captain.
No, but you are.
Sean is. He's the showrunner. Yeah.
You are one of the magnets, and you're the chief storyteller. On screen, and you've worked with one of the great storytellers of all time, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, Clint. Yeah,
and so if it isn't real,
the boss.
Yeah, the boss. and you got some great stories about him. I know you have, because I've heard them. But if it's not, it may not really be real if you disseminate it and you dissect it. But once it's together, something that's good is more than the sum of its parts. Something that is acceptable is equal to the sum of its parts. And some things that are disappointing are less than the sum of their parts. However, it is undeniably a vehicle to tell a story, and we know that stories can change the world for ill or good.
Propaganda. Yeah, I think.
Or Hollywood. Or
exactly.
both.
Or they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Storytelling is a huge part of human history and life. I struggle to understand how it's been put on this pedestal that it is on socially. Because it is, we are the jesters. We are like, I think governments can sort of fall into this too. You're public servants. Like, you're held accountable to the people. It's not the other way around. And I think in this business, in my business specifically, a lot of actors can sort of feel entitled to people's time. And they're basically conflating that national consciousness or awareness of that last project with future projects and saying, they love this thing, therefore they love me. And it's not true. And it can sort of feel overwhelming that, people love you and people say they love you, whatever. They love the job you did. They love the story you told. But then I think those sort of wires are crossed and actors start to feel like they're valuable in that equation and that they're important. And the whole point of acting is to not be important, that you're playing someone who's important, that you're telling a story that's more important than you are. And the more you invoke yourself into that equation of story and things that you're appealing to that are, throughout human history, that are older than us, the stories and themes and stuff. If I come in the middle of the story, I look into the camera and I say, I'm Gabriel Basso, not Peter Sutherland. And you're like, who the hell is this guy? Get the hell out of here. But that's what essentially people do. Yeah. Like in societies, they make an issue of self. And that to me is it's not what we are doing.
I think there's a gratitude from an audience, but whether it be a musical audience, a literary audience, or a TV audience or a cinematic audience, any kind of audience at all, there's an inbuilt gratitude for the fact that whoever's doing what they're doing, whether it's behind the camera, in front of the camera, on the guitar, whatever, there's an inbuilt gratitude for the fact that you've given us a reason, sometimes an excuse, sometimes a celebration, sometimes, a mourning if somebody's passing or something has passed, to get together as human beings. And I heard this thing yesterday, you'd love this. I would say that, but I think you might like this, right? The fact that we are approximately individually 4,000 trillion single cells together in each of us. So we have approximately 4,000 trillion single cell organisms next to each other within our makeup, and that's held together with our bag of skin. And each of those single cell organisms has to wake up, because they've all got their inbuilt alarms and they all go to sleep every morning or whenever our circadian rhythm dictates. And they all have to get together and basically they have to agree to be us again today. And therefore,
sounds pretty communist to me, dude.
I don't think it is, but I think it's more sort of cosmos than chaos.
Comrade, wake up.
Yeah, or communism. And because we wake up as that agreement, it is our natural DNA, because we're just a bigger version of those smaller versions. And that's the message we're getting every day. We want to agree with everybody. Because look, let's face it, everybody's got a drawer of knives in their house, but most of us eat them for cutting meat and eating our food. We don't use them for nefarious purposes. Yeah. So we all want to get on. And I think that when people like you have a show like this, or hopefully this radio show for some people as well, and you are doing things that people are interested in or engaged with for one reason or another, the overwhelming sense might be on the sofa or in the cinema or in the stadium, one of relief, like, oh, we are all still getting on because we're all now getting together for this. So there is a bigger picture to that.
I agree, and I think that takes a level of mutual respect, and that's what I'm saying. I think people, all those cells in that example, are oriented to their place, within the body. They're not performing one another's jobs. Some are more important than others, in the sense that some are performing a job that are prerequisites to others performing their job.
But they're not waiting for an ovation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's sort of the weird thing that I'm feeling is one of the cells is getting all the celebration when, it's kind of
they're
like...
putting the cell in celebration.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that, I expect the whole crew to be in this room talking about the show, but it does feel weird socially to be put on a platform when it's like, dude, I can't do my job. I literally can't do the cell's job without, I can't be a celebrity.
A celebrity.
There you go. Without the other people involved. So it feels kind of weird.
Are you 30 now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
See, you're a whippersnapper. The road is long, isn't it? Do you have mentors that you discuss this with?
There are a few older people. They're not any of them in this business, but they're just older people. I think there's a lot to learn. The monopoly of youth, I think, is energy and age. And I think when that energy sort of becomes arrogant and I think I know where to go in life, I waste a lot of energy. And the more people I can turn to that have done it before, that have things to say, and can help me out, the better. Because I think something, I don't know if it's deliberate, but the nefarious thing of the iPhone, or whatever, smartphone, is that you have teenagers correcting older people. That no, that's not what happened, and they'll Google it. And it's like, yeah, you're missing the point that Sioux Indians used to cut out the tongue of little kids that interrupted elders for a reason. It wasn't that they wanted to torture or mutilate kids. It was the fact that there should be some innate respect for people who've done something that they have, even if they're wrong on the dates or the events.
Lived experience. Yeah,
that they have some wisdom that you don't have, discernment that you don't have. So I try to find in any sort of, because I do a lot of, I have a lot of skills or interests, and I think in all of those environments, I find something that someone's committed their whole life to a craft. I can be an idiot and sit there and listen to them and from a place of humility and not know I'm not a carpenter. I'm not dedicated my whole life to carpentry. So I'm going to sit there with a carpenter and be an idiot and like be told about life.
Beginner's mind.
Yeah, always. Perpetual beginner's mind. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it, man. I love it. And so a lot of these skills that you have, are they mostly manual?
Yeah, there's a lot of art that I write a lot, I draw a lot, but then, I do stonemasonry. I have a DSWA license, walling license.
I've heard about your various walls.
Yeah, so I've worked on a lot of dry stack walls in the States, but yeah, I try to apply myself physically as much as I can. I think that, what's that saying? The society that separates its warriors and its thinkers has its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools, or whatever that is. So I don't like feeling, after 12 hours of drawing, I don't like feeling sore and weak, like I haven't done anything physically. So it's this constant balance between training or fighting or boxing or doing any sort of thing like that, and then also reading or drawing or writing or something.
Because you are so passionate about being a decent human being, quite clearly. How you must take this with you on a show like The Night Agent. You must take it with you, and you must try and somehow, subconsciously or consciously, feel like you have responsibility to get some of this across in your role. Because it's very action. There's a lot of action going on. It's a lot of screenplay as opposed to script going on. Do you take this with you? Of course, you have to, don't you? You have to take this mindset with you. What do you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think. Look, acting, at least my approach to acting is kind of, I wouldn't say simple, but it's as much as you can not lie about, the better.
Yeah.
And, if I can actually learn the skills, Keanu doing all the gun training for John Wick, that's not fake. He actually had to learn that. So he's not acting anymore.
Yeah.
The method actors, the whole point of method acting, if you want to call it that, is like trying to make the thing real.
Yeah.
So you don't have to act. And I said this thing recently. I enjoy acting. I don't like lying.
Yeah, I heard you do that. It was on Jimmy Fallon, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you
and I realized it.
By the way, you were great on Jimmy Fallon.
Thanks, man.
You were really funny, and we all watched it, and you didn't have your funny bit that you took with you. You were funny start to finish.
Thanks. Yeah, I say things because I realized that as I was saying it, and I was like, man, that actually there is a distinction, and I think that people. Think that acting is all lying, and that great actors, Robert De Niro or something, is not playing Scipio Africanus. He's not. It's not within his charisma. He couldn't make it convincing. Yeah. And so, regardless of how good the actor is, there are roles that they can't do, and that to me is it's trying to walk that line of like, oh, I pushed it too far with this, it's unbelievable, or oh, this is just within that wheelhouse where I can add a skill or add something that people may not have known I could do or wouldn't see me as. But yeah, I think that's sort of the key. So a lot of Peter, I try to bring myself a lot of to that show, but sometimes it doesn't. I think the showrunner, Sean, he laughs because there would be a lot more bodies in Peter's wake if it were me, because I don't I don't understand the heroic, like, oh, I'm going to shoot this guy in the kneecap and then move on. It's like, he's shooting at me. I would, I'd kill him. Yeah.
That's from the old Marlon Brando, wasn't it? Marlon Brando was at stage school once, and he was having this acting class, and the acting coach said, okay, I want you to be chickens, and the Luftwaffe are flying over, and they're going to drop bombs on you, and I want you to respond as a chicken. And all these people around Marlon Brando in this acting class, he said, okay, be a chicken. Okay, the bombs are coming over, and they're dropping the bombs, and please be a chicken now, having the bombs dropped on them. And so Marlon just carries on just sitting there on the stage. And the acting coach said, whoa. Marlon, what's going on with you? He said, I'm a chicken. He said, yeah, well, please be a chicken, frightened of the bombs. He said, a chicken wouldn't know what bombs are.
He's chilling out.
He's just chilling out. And he was the first person ever to do that, wasn't he? Because any acting really before that was a performance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody really talked like that. Nobody told stories like that. And that's where you that's the song sheet you sing from.
Yeah, I think it's that same sort of, you're trying not to overthink it, and people, I like to think about it. I was talking to this really phenomenal actor. He was talking about breathing techniques for pre-scene acting stuff. And I was like, okay, I can see the need for that in the context of, let's say I'm going free diving and I need to learn, how to breath hold and all that stuff and pack my lungs and all the stuff that free divers do. That's a breathing technique. But then when I'm talking to you, I'm not sitting here going in, out. I'm a free diver, but I'm using specific breathing techniques for only specific jobs and situations. So that all is great in acting and theater and all that stuff when you've dedicated your whole life to something and you know all these techniques and what they're called and the thinking behind it and all that stuff. But then in conversation with your buddies, you're not sitting there going, I'm going to think about this now.
Yeah,
and I'm going. It's
some people try it and you can see it a mile off.
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's what
work.
I'm saying. It's outside of their charisma. They may know the technique, but it's completely outside of their charisma.
So what's the answer then?
It's being able to walk back, like understand yourself objectively of who you are, what your sort of attitude is towards life, and then apply that to the character. And anything that you can't apply gets shelved for a bit. But you're trying to bring as much of yourself to the character as you can. So when you're in those situations, people don't just look at it and say, "This guy's, it's garbage." I see, like you're saying, you see it a mile off. The guy at a bar that's trying to act tough.
Yeah, nice try.
Yeah, that he might have the muscle, he might have the look, but you look at him and you're like, dude, you're soft.
Where's the story? Yeah.
You're soft. Like Charles Bronson would thrash some of these actors that are 280, 6'8", and you just see it on him, and you're like,
Steel.
Yeah, you're a jacked theater kid, dude. You're not a fighter.
Outside in, not inside out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
They focus on the facade first, and you just see it.
You can wear the armor, or you can be the armor, I suppose. And the real armor is inside, not outside. And if you have the armor inside, you don't
versus invertebrate.
Who'd you like? Favorite films off the top of your head? Come on.
Lord of the Rings is up there.
Yeah.
Cool Hand Luke is up there. Unforgiven. I'm not a big film guy, man. I'm really not.
Well, you just named 3 amazing films there.
Well, that's,
that'll do.
Lord of the Rings is the greatest trilogy ever made, I think.
Did you hear about so you don't know who Michael Owen is, do you?
No.
Michael Owen used to be a very famous footballer here. I know you're into football, but you're into football. You're nearly a footballer, weren't you? A football player.
I played
NFL,
a lot.
Yeah.
No. Soccer football.
So Michael Owen used to play for England. He played for Barcelona, I think, in the end. Played
Real
for
Madrid.
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Did you hear about, he's only ever watched 8 films.
No.
He's only ever watched 8 films, and 3 of them were Rockies. And he hates all of it. Sorry, that's just the design. I meant to talk about
pretty
that
awesome.
some other day. All right, so please tell us a bit about Clint Eastwood. Are you his friend? Do you have is he on speed dial? Do you know? I mean,
I don't think he's on speed dial for anyone. I think that's what makes him awesome.
Slow dial.
No one
do you
can
have him on slow dial?
I sent out a carrier pigeon for
Can
Clint
you do Clint Eastwood? Can you give us you nearly did Clint then.
What?
You just sort of slipped into his rhythm.
No, I think, look, his whole thing is he's cooler than you.
Sorry, people might not know. How come you know Clint Eastwood?
I did a movie called Juror Number 2, and I played the guy on trial for the murder of his girlfriend.
And he was directing.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And everybody in the movie killed. Nick Holt was in it. He killed it. Everybody, Tony, they're all great. But Clint, it was just this wild. I like to think of it, and not he's 94, but I like to think about it as Night at the Museum, like what Napoleon just came to life in front of you, and he's like talking. What do you say to him? You know, like everybody was trying to talk to Clint. I'm like, dude, any story you have, he has a better one.
Yeah.
Anything you have to say, he's heard it. He's seen all the actors. He was friends with politicians. He was friends with icons of the 40s and 30s. Like, he knows everything. So just be quiet and do what you're told.
Have you seen his audition black and whites from his 10x12s from like the
No.
50s? I mean, he's just ridiculous. I mean, we all know what he looked like, what he looks like, how well he's been lit in various movies that he's been in. But you see those audition 10x12 black and whites that he had taken, he paid for, probably borrowed $10 to have taken in the 50s, and he just comes screaming off that celluloid. I mean, it is just ridiculous. Apparently, one way you can get down with Clint is be an amazing musician. And
he's a great pianist.
Yeah, he's a great pianist. So Jamie Cullum, who's one of our guys here in the UK, he's good friends with him.
Awesome.
And Clint holds those people in higher esteem than, apparently that's one way in. So I don't know if you've got time to learn the piano.
I'm a drummer. I drummed for a long time.
Have you talked to him about that?
No.
Right.
No. I played violin for a bit. He liked to talk about that. But for me, it was more just appreciating what was happening in front of me, like watching him direct people and watching his vibe on set.
How can somebody so laid back communicate what they want? I mean, I know there's an answer. I'm not saying he can't.
Yeah.
How does he do it when he's so ridiculously laid back? How does he get his point across?
I think he expects everyone to listen when he's speaking, and then he expects the job to be done well. Patton had that. He said, tell somebody how to do a job and then walk away and let them do it.
Yeah, and hire the right people in the first place.
Exactly.
I suppose.
And the micromanagement, to me, is almost, you're doubting your own judgment when you hired the person. If you give a job and then you micromanage them, just do it yourself, dude. What are you doing? Yeah. And so Clint had a very great way of telling the crew what he wanted and then going to take a nap and being like...
cheese. He likes cheese.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's my Clint Eastwood, one of my favorite moments on set. He has this Airstream that he parks. It's in base camp. Yeah, it's like an old 70s Airstream. It's so cool. But he walked off. He woke up from his nap and he was like, stepped off. He was eating Cheez-Its. And this, attractive young woman walks by, sort of waves at him, and he smiles at her. He still had got the glint in his eye, the twinkle in his eyes, And he smiles at her and he goes, Cheez-It? And it was the fun. She just moved over to him like a... Jesus, like a moth.
Yes, Jesus.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, Jesus.
And she sat there and talked to him, and he just fed her Cheez-Its. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Dude. It was one of the most unbelievable interactions. And I'm just looking at it like he's the one kind of and I'll say this, he's the one person that I've seen that's that old, but that looks like he's 20 years old in his eyes. Yeah. Like it looks like he's trapped in his own body. It's
Clint
a wild.
Eastwood.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you like to punt,
Sorry,
man.
I'm British.
Celebrity.
Yeah. Gabriel, The Night Agent is back. It's here for season 2. It's out this Thursday, 23rd of Jan, and that's worldwide. He was so successful last year. 6th most successful thing that Netflix have ever had on Netflix, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, just ridiculous. Are you comfortable being at the center of it? Because you
Nothing's changed for me.
Nothing's
dude.
changed.
Nothing, and I think that's the goal: is you want to insulate yourself from your life changing for sure, because it's not a. I'm dropping so many quotes today, but that other quote.
Love it. Bring it on.
Money doesn't change you; it shows you who you are, or whatever. I think the same is about fame or success or whatever. If you just get swept up in it, knowing that intrinsic to that fame, it can be taken away from you.
Yeah.
You're building your self-worth on a sand castle, and so nothing's changed in my life. I get recognized a lot more, obviously. I'm in London, so in ways it's changed, but in terms of what informs me in my life, it's not changed. So
well, good for you.
It's
mate.
crazy though.
Good gang.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The crew's amazing. Every crew we were just in Istanbul for season 3. The Bangkok crew, the New York crew, the Vancouver crew, like everybody on this show.
Happy shit.
Has killed it. It absolutely killed it.
Love it.
And it's a really tough show to film. A lot of night shoots, a lot of personal sacrifice. We had one of the grips who hadn't seen his kid for basically a month and a half because he was filming nights, and then when he got home, he went to sleep, and she went off to school. So his toddler was missing him a lot. And I was like, that's where I feel the responsibility of making the show. It's not necessarily millions of people who watch the show, but I'm looking at a crew member. I show up late or I don't know my lines, and he's taken 4 hours out of his day before we even started to get there.
I don't imagine you ever do show up late or don't know your lines by the way.
No, I don't. Well, that's what I'm saying. Because to me, at least, there should be. I cannot believe there is not. If I ran a studio, there would be in the contract these actors that show up late to set that don't know their lines. I'd be like, if it happens 2 days consecutively, the crew can jump you in the parking lot. They can just beat the absolute hell out of you.
Yeah.
Or when we rap, and every day it adds because you're disrespecting the crew, one, but they're doing their jobs. And in the same way that we've all heard the tapes of, the Christian Bale freak out or whatever, the actor expects the crew to do their job. And imagine doing this crazy performance and the camera wasn't rolling because the AC guy didn't do his job.
Yeah.
You need to have the same level of expectation as they have for you, or you have for them. And I think it's sort of, once again, it gets inverted. It's weird.
David Lean, who made Lawrence of Arabia, whose house is over there. Obviously, he's no longer with us now. Yeah. He used to say, all he asks of actors, show up on time, know your lines.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally your job.
Yeah. Hurry up and wait. Yeah. There's that as well going on. We're out of time, but you just mentioned Keanu Reeves. Do you know? You mentioned him. I just sense you might know Keanu Reeves.
I do. Yeah.
Do you?
He's a good buddy of mine.
I love Keanu Reeves. I've interviewed basically everybody. I've never interviewed Keanu Reeves. Just talking about him gives me goosebumps. Why is that? Why am I getting goosebumps just saying his name?
Because it's Keanu Reeves.
Tell us.
He's Neo.
Come on, tell us about Keanu. You got a minute. Tell us about Keanu.
He's just he's exactly what you'd think he is. He's a great dude. He has all these interests. He cares about people.
He does.
And he recognizes, that his job is to tell real events. So he's in touch with reality for sure. Oh yeah, he's great.
He's a mentor. He's got to be a mentor, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, Keanu Reeves. Jeez, what else do you need? Gabriel, great to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Great to meet you. Gabriel Basso, The Night Agent, Season 2, out this Thursday, 23rd of Jan.
What else do you need?
He doesn't need your help to get any more views, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it if you haven't seen it. Come on, man. Great to see you, man.
God, Clint Eastwood, and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. When are you back to the US?
Tomorrow.
All right. Have a safe trip home.
Thank you, sir.
Great to see you.